You can email me.
Last year we were here on what we call the scoping mission. We went into South Africa, we visited the SciTex, a trade fair, and we really looked at what, in general, the opportunities are for the Philippines in this market. But with a view not only for South Africa, but really for SADC countries. So we found that, yes, there's very good reason for us to be here. We found that seems like Chinese, Koreans, Japanese know something we don't. So we said by gut feel that we would really look and see to organize another mission to come here, and hopefully this will be followed by more later on. Both ways, of course, we're looking forward for inbound missions coming from South Africa as well. I think there's really an urgent need for us to take a look at our trade relations with South Africa, with the figures that we saw. I mean, neither export nor import, both ways are making any progress. So, and I think being emerging markets, I think there's a lot of shared opportunities that we can explore between the Philippines and South Africa bilaterally. But of course, also looking and moving forward, I think they always say you build it and they will come, following that principle. I guess it's also one opportunity that we should really take a look at, because obviously the cost of moving products, is getting to be a big portion of the cost of doing trade. But eventually we have to look at, for example, the digital space. And perhaps to be able to fulfill, one really needs to look at how we can get products inside the country and then eventually do fulfillment based on what's available already in the local market. I'm talking about e-commerce, for example. Is of course language, business practices. We share common business practices, and I think the location, of course, of South Africa having very good access to the ports is something that we should really look at. But of course, as you said, we don't really have that as of the moment because of the economics, I guess, of moving products directly from the Philippines to South Africa. But yes, we're looking at South Africa for entrepot trade. In other words, to do business not only with South Africa, but all the rest of the countries in sub-Saharan Africa, so that we can get started with Philippine products moving into this area. There are also Philippine companies that are already invested in South Africa. So again, I say my gut feeling is that there is something that they know that we should learn more about so that we can really explore the African market, looking at either raw materials or commodities and intermediates. So basically, decision-making for those kinds of products are not really made intrinsically by the business owners and persons themselves, but actually just being part of the value chain, the supply chain. Intermediates for electronics, as components, we import, we export. But there's a lot of products, I think, that has opportunities, especially for small and medium enterprises that are not really into the, shall we say, mainstream global value chain. And one of the strong suits that we have, for example, for the Philippines, electronics is a very, rather big part of it. But those are intermediate goods. The decision making there is not made by Filipinos, but actually from investors that have invested in the Philippines for re-export to other countries as part of their global value chain. So what we'd really like to develop is really trade with local companies that have actually local products going into mainstream markets such as South Africa and the rest of Africa.
It went very, very successfully because we've also arranged business-to-business meetings in the specific sectors where companies can meet in their sectors and actually establish partnerships and joint venture agreements. So we also look forward to the long-standing association and working on further joint ventures and partnership agreements as well, and also facilitating those agreements between our members and also with the delegation from the